Here's the culprit count for this book. Here's the culprit count for all the books. And here's the end of book culprit count.
Argofont Book Review, Argofont Book Review.
Case 1. Oh, sure, let's start with the puzzle that has over 15 clues. That will be a fun note to begin the summary on. The characters want to stay in the mansion overnight in order to get a fortune. Of course, they all have weapons. Mustard has the revolver, Green has the rope, White has the pipe, Scarlet has the candlestick, Plum has the wrench, Peacock has the pipe. Then we get the swaps. The pipe's owner gets the rope, the revolver's owner gets the wrench's owner gets the knife, the rope's owner gets the candlestick, the knife's owner gets the revolver. Then they fight each other. Candlestick fights wrench, rope fights candlestick and wrench, revolver faints, knife knocks out pipe and steals it, pipe attacks wrench. Who has the lead pipe? When you write all the clues out, it's easy to work backwards. The lead pipe's owner had the knife, who had the wrench, who was Plum. There's a second challenge to figure out what room the culprit is in, but I couldn't keep track of that on top of everything else. It's the conservatory. Case 2. Everyone poses for a picture. From left to right, there is Green, Mustard, and Plum. Green switches with Mustard, and Mustard switches with Plum. The culprit is the man who's on the left after the first swap. Who is it? Colonel Mustard. Wow, that puzzle was much easier than the first one. We only have to keep track of 3 characters and 1 swap. Simple. Case 3. Everyone buys silly weapons at an auction. Are you ready for math? Because this is the first math puzzle of the series. The revolver is $50 million. It's half as much as the most expensive item. The knife is the second most expensive item. The knife is twice as much as the wrench. The wrench is 4 times as much as the rope. The rope is 1/10 as much as the most expensive item. The pipe is most expensive. The final item is the rope's price plus the revolver's price. What is it and how much? The item is the candlestick and it's $60 million. As it turns out, the clues about the knife and wrench are totally irrelevant. Case 4, we get another swapping puzzle as the characters do recycling. Scarlet has a wrench, Peacock has a pipe, Mustard has a knife. Only 3 items to keep track of? I guess that's not so bad. Scarlet trades with Peacock, Mustard trades with Plum, White trades with Scarlet, White trades with Peacock, Plum trades with Scarlet, Peacock trades with Mustard, Mustard trades with White. Who has the lead pipe? Mrs. White has the pipe, so the pipe moved in every single swap except the 2 swaps with Professor Plum. Case 5. There are 7 cream puffs, 1 in each color, with a pink one for Mr. Body. I guess Mr. Body likes pink. Peacock loses her valuable gold tooth in a purple puff. Green hides it in his puff, which is stolen by Scarlet. A man has a yellow puff. Plum has a green puff. Body has a pink puff. And Body's dog Ajax eats the red puff. Mr. Body has a dog? Since when? I am learning so much about him in this mystery. White steals Scarlet's puff. Green trades his white puff with White. Where's the tooth? The tooth is in Green's blue puff. Like the previous case, you can ignore all the swaps with Plum. Poor Professor Plum. Case 6. Everyone does a big jigsaw puzzle and they try to steal something from the garden. People go in and out of the garden at different times with different weapons. This is actually a fake-out mystery. The solution is that White is the culprit because she had shoes, while the others had overshoes and hip waders. Those are boots, not shoes. I had no idea those were boots. I don't even know what those are. Case 7. Mr. Body has a book worth $5 million. It is clearly not this book. White sleeps all night. Mustard knocks himself out. Another man knocks himself out. Plum scares Peacock while sleepwalking. And a masked stranger steals the book. Who is it? It's Miss Scarlet, who's the only one not mentioned. Although the book is sneaky and it puts the information about Mrs. White before a page break, which tricked me into thinking she wasn't mentioned. Case 8. Sergeant Red Herring, I love that name. Red Herring comes to investigate the theft of a ring, necklace, brooch, and tiara, and your challenge is to figure out how many and what types of jewels were attached to these pieces. Red gets to mix and match pieces of paper to solve the puzzle, which is totally unfair. I don't get to work out the solution on paper. Well, here are the clues. The ring and only one other piece had one type of jewel. The brooch was the only one with sapphires and had more jewels than the others. The brooch and the necklace had no diamonds, while the other two did. Everything except the ring had emeralds. Rubies are on the tiara or brooch, not both. One type of jewels on the necklace and the tiara. So your solution is a diamond ring, emerald necklace, diamond and emerald tiara, a brooch of sapphire, rubies, and emeralds. Case 9. Everyone rides on the Monsters of the Caribbean. They all get scared and exit at different times. Mustard runs away, Scarlet falls out, Green jumps out, White falls out, and Plum leaps out. Who's left? Mrs. Peacock is the only one left. There's a minor challenge here because Plum is not mentioned by name, but you can recognize him by his wrench and the fact that he's the only male left. Case 10. Just for fun, Body is going to reveal all of his guests' terrible secrets. Body is not a nice person. Body tells them all to write down a secret and put it in a hat. Then he goes to get pie in the kitchen. There's also punch in the dining room. The puzzle assumes you can't enter the dining room and the kitchen on the same trip. That's wrong. People can visit two rooms that are right next to each other. But for the sake of the puzzle solution, you have to pretend they can't. This is a dumb, unwritten rule, and as a result, I don't like the puzzle. Anyway, the point is, anybody who gets punch is innocent, because you can't go to the other room and the kitchen at the same time. Whatever. Okay, here are the 10 clues. Mustard and Scarlet leave. Plum leaves as Mustard returns with pie. Peacock leaves to get punch. Body calls out, so he's still alive at this point in time. Green leaves. White leaves as Peacock returns with punch. Scarlet returns with pie. Plum returns with nothing. Green returns with pie, White returns with punch. Mr. Body is found murdered in the kitchen. There's a note which says the culprit swore to never reveal his secret. Who did it? Well, since all the punch people are innocent and Mustard returned before Body died, we're left with Green and Scarlet. One of them must be the murderer, the other one must have written the note. That's another unexplained rule of the puzzle. We have to assume the note is true and the culprit isn't trying to frame someone else. Also, just realize, Plum returns with nothing, right? He could have gotten some pie and returned, right? Just because he didn't bring the pie back with him, that doesn't mean he didn't visit the kitchen for pie. Whatever. Okay, so Scarlet is the murderer because she never put her secret into the hat, which counts as swearing to never reveal a secret. And again, I take issue with this deduction, but I've complained enough about this mystery already. The end. Postbook follow-up. Case 10 solution explains Body didn't die, he was knocked out by a lampshade. The next book will say he's knocked out by a pipe. Continuity! Is that Mr. Body on the cover? I think that's Mr. Body! Great, I can use that as my Mr. Body picture for these reviews. I'll stop using the picture of Tim Curry. Tim was in the Clue movie, which I do not recommend, by the way. These books are far more entertaining. I thought this book was more difficult than the others. The puzzles had more things that you had to keep track of, and a lot of the mysteries had extra unnecessary clues. I generally like having extra clues, as a backup in case I miss out on the important clues, but it felt like information overload at several points. While it's not my favorite book of the series by any stretch of the imagination, it's still okay, so I give clue number 7, The Picture Perfect Crime, a thumbs up.